Today I'm going to show you guys how to rough shape a neck blank. Hey everybody, this is Matt. We're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. The other day I got an email from a Patreon member named Gerald, and he says he's having trouble with routing his necks. This would be for a Fender neck. I guess he's making a Telecaster, and he's having some trouble around the heel area. I made some notes on this one. He's 0 for 2, he says, and he's getting some chips at the heel, and it's basically ruining the neck, and we've all been there, right? He says he's got a 1/2 inch template bit and a 3/4 inch template bit. He's been using the 1/2 inch, and he's having some trouble with that, and he wants to know if the 3/4 is going to be better. So I thought, rather than just send him an email, why don't I make a video, and that way we can all have fun. So having fun in the shop is kind of where it's at, right? Before we go a whole lot further though, remember I am a guitar builder. I am not a YouTube guy, okay? I make YouTube videos, but for my job, for my living, the way I make my house payments is making guitars in my shop. I'm not in a studio, okay? So if anybody goes, the microphone, you should get microphone, this, that, I'm not gonna do that. I'm happy to make videos and I like making them, but I'm not gonna bend over backwards for the delicate ears of some people. So there's lots of other YouTube guys out there who happen to be making guitars. I'm the other way around. I'm a guitar builder who happens to be making YouTube videos. All right, enough of that crap. Stop sending me things about how I should get this, that, and the other, because I'm not going to do it. All right, I got this blank here. This is a blank for a Fender style neck. This came from my buddies Dan and Calvin at Tone Wood Experts, formerly Guitar Wood Experts. If you guys are looking for lumber, those dudes have the good stuff. This is what you get. By the way, this is the same board that we have at our Build a Classic Strat and Build a Classic Tele classes, and we're just going to go ahead and make a neck blank for that. I have machined this so that it is flat and parallel on both sides and is 750 thousandths. That's 3/4 of an inch, in case I'm confusing you, and that's where we're going to start. I'm going to be using these templates that I get. I probably can't see that. I'm going to be using these templates that had Steve from Maximum Guitar Works make me. They're super cool. This one is a paddle headstock. I wanted a paddle headstock because when you come to the classes, you get to shape your headstock however you want. So that's cool. And we're going to be using the router table, and we're going to be using the bandsaw. If you don't have a router table and a bandsaw, see if you can borrow one. And if you can't borrow one, I don't know what to tell you, but if you want to build guitars, you're gonna have to have some tools. You hear that? That's people going, I have a this, that, and the other, and it works great. Cool, happy meal. I'm gonna show you how I do it because that's the way I do it. All right, enough of the bullshit talk. Let's jump right in. Okay, so I've got my board here that I'm gonna be using, and I've got my template. You'll notice that I'm not gonna draw a center line on here because I don't want the neck to be here. That's going to mean that someone only has this much meat to work with when they're designing their headstock. But what I am going to do is there's really no need for me to cut this part, so I'm going to go ahead and line that up with my board, and I'm going to trace around the headstock and the neck with a sharp pencil. I'm not going to use a dull pencil. I'm going to use a sharp pencil. If you guys ever come to build a guitar class or workshop with me, I will constantly be harping on you for using a dull pencil if you use a dull pencil. Okay, so now we're going to run over to the bandsaw and we're going to cut this as close to the line as we possibly can. right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to stick Steve's template down to my piece here, and I'm going to use double stick tape. All right, our template is attached, and I'm going to make sure that I have material on all the way around that's proud of the template. You know what I mean? That's kind of a key thing that you want to make sure you don't have the template overhanging the piece on one part, because then your neck is not going to be dimensionally correct. Okay, see these little metal pieces right here? Steve's templates are set up to take some 1/8 inch pins. I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes for those. I'm not going to worry about putting pins in there yet, because the tape's going to hold everything where it needs to be. But I will be using these holes later to index the neck. So let's zip over to the drill press and drill some holes. So see, the way these pins work is you can put the template back on and off again and index it off these holes, and it's perfect every time. The other neat thing is you can use these same pin holes and index your fretboard later on, and so that's a cool thing too. But again, we're not going to necessarily use the pins for right now. All right, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the router bits that you can use to go around your template and shape your neck. I suspect that a lot of guys use bits like these. Now these are old, but it doesn't matter if they look like this or they look brand new. These are not the bits that you want to use. Don't be tempted. Generally speaking, the bigger the diameter of the cutter, the better. This is a 3/4 inch diameter, and it's also it's not actually spiraled, but it kind of is, in that some of the cutters are going this way and they're angled. That's better than the straight cutter like this. You've probably seen some fluted or spiral cutters. Doesn't really matter if you guys want to use upcut or downcut. They will both work equally well. It's just where the chips and stuff go. For this, anyway, it doesn't matter. If you're plunging into something, you might want the upcut to evacuate that stuff. But it's up to you. You're going to have to kind of figure some of this stuff out. You know what I mean? I've got one of the smaller Infinity tool cutters. It's still 3/4, but it's only an inch, and I think it's an inch tall instead of 2 inches tall. So we're going to use that. And again, you can see how close I got to the edge. And that's really the key. Okay, you can't leave a whole bunch of extra meat there to grind away with the router. So remember, here's a chunk of the, I think it was right here, or thereabouts. If you can remove this with a bandsaw, you don't have to remove it with a router, okay? The other thing I want to make sure is that my template's not moving around too much, or really at all, because as the template starts to move, that things can go wrong. You might be wondering what some of these holes are here, especially this threaded one. A lot of people call these different things, starter pins, things like that. And what it is it's a pin that you can push. Imagine, let's see here. So imagine there's a pin here. I can push up on that pin and steady my piece and then push it into the cutter. I don't use them, but they do work, guys. And if you wanna use them, it's just kind of a good thing to get everything anchored. Because what can happen is, as soon as you put this against the wood, it's going to want to start flinging it around. You might not even feel it, but it's going to want to do that. And if you start the cut and don't go with it, what you don't want to do is push the piece into the cutter and go backwards or climb cut. you want to go with the direction of the cutter, and I never, ever, ever back up. So let's see, let's just get this guy set up properly. Actually, it looks pretty good as is. So we are going to start the vacuum and make moves here. Okay, so the heel area here, this is where my Patreon supporter wanted to know how I do that. This is where he's having trouble. I suspect that when you get to the heel, you kind of want to just, start pushing it around. What I do is I'm gonna pull the piece back and start again, but I'm going to start my bit where I've already cut, okay, and then come around. Okay, so we've successfully gone all the way around the template, and we've cut the neck to match the template. So the real key to this is to get the cut as close to the size of the template as humanly possible. You'll notice that I always went with so that the cutter was cutting. I didn't go opposite of the direction that the cutter is cutting. I also didn't move, I'm always moving clockwise, okay? I don't go back and push it counterclockwise again. I just go clockwise. The other thing is that I always keep my piece really tight against the bit. That, I think, is where a lot of guys kind of, the wheels fall off. Is they're a little bit away and they get some chatter, and what happens is it kicks it, and instead of holding it close and tight to the bit, that's when things can go horribly wrong. So, cut as much off with the bandsaw as you possibly can. Use the biggest diameter bit that you can get. If you can get a tool that doesn't have straight cutting head flutes, do that. Spiral or angle is the hot ticket. And keep it pressed up against the bit and only go in the direction of the cut. Okay, now I've seen a lot of things where people are like, all right, climb on this one and go this way. No, go in the direction of the cut always, always, always. Okay, see this burn right here? This is from a couple of different things. One is that this bit is getting old. The other is I probably labored a little bit too long in this neighborhood here. I needed to move quickly through this cut. Did it a little bit on this end grain as well, but yeah, you can see some burn marks there. Generally speaking, burn marks come from you're not pushing the piece through the tool quickly enough, or you've got a dull bit. Okay? All right, let's wrap it up. Guys, I hope that answers some of the questions that you might have about doing the perimeter of a Fender style neck, even if it has a paddle headstock. If you got any other questions or new stuff came up, please leave them in the section below. I can't stress this enough though. If you have some tools and you're having trouble, the best thing you can do is get some training. And the best place that you can do that is right here in my shop. We've got classes all the time, and we would love to have you guys come out and hang out with us for a week and build guitars with us. It's a lot of fun. If you like this video, give me the thumbs up, and if you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, please go ahead and do so now. If you appreciate content like this, you might want to go over to our Patreon page and consider becoming a member. Even $1 a month goes a long way to helping us bring you guys neat stuff like this. But if you can't do Patreon, we totally get it. Share the video as many places as you can possibly think of and help us grow the channel that way. We've got links in the description below to a lot of the products that we use and vendors that we use. Help them because they help us. So until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time.